Hello, my good people. Welcome to On This Show. On this show today, we are having our guest, Dr. William Songok. Dr. William Songok is a lecturer at the University of Kenyatta, and he is from the faculty of medicine. We are here with Dr. Songok to discuss, or rather to share insight on the Ebola disease, the current status situation in our country. Well, as we all know, that Ebola is a disease that is very dangerous and contagious in this region. And every time we hear of Ebola in Congo, in Uganda, as a country, Kenya, we have a reason to get worried because we come from the same region. So, welcome so much, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invite. Yes. And I'm really glad to be on the show.
Yes.
As you rightly stated, my name is Dr. William Songok. Yes. I am a lecturer at Kenyatta University. Yes. In the School of Medicine, Department of Medical Microbiology and Immunology. That's right. I am a virologist by training, so I enjoy studying bugs, and this is what I do for a living. That's right. And the virus that I studied the most is human papillomavirus, which causes cervical cancer in women. And it is a cousin to the Ebola virus. Oh. When it comes to diseases, diseases can be caused by various things. We have bacteria, we have parasites, and then we have viruses, and also we have fungus. And all these are very important, relevant to the human health. Okay. So when it comes to the disease that we're going to talk about today, it is caused by a virus. One unique thing about viruses, unlike parasites and bacteria, is in terms of their size. Okay. Viruses can only survive inside a living thing. So sometimes I see some of these commercials where they take viruses and then they are multiplying on the table. That is not true. Viruses do not. They only survive inside your body. Okay. So they only crawl when they get inside. Like they use your machinery to be able to replicate. But you put a virus outside a living body, it doesn't do anything. So once somebody dies and they have viruses, the viruses, they kind of go into dormancy. Okay. They don't die. Okay. They just go quiet. Okay. Just waiting for the...
So for instance, for the Ebola case, if you come into contact with someone who was just, died of Ebola, the viruses are just dormant, but you are likely to be infected as well.
Sure. I mean, we'll talk about that when we talk about transmission, but you rightfully said that if somebody had Ebola and they have shown the symptoms and they died, that's very important. They died from Ebola. Then their body fluids are loaded with the virus. And if you touch this person, then touch any cuts or any thin lining within your body, then the virus can come in. Okay. So the fact that somebody has died doesn't mean the virus have died. They've just gone into quiescence. It's like you froze them.
That's right.
Yes.
So, Daktari, what is Ebola? Like, other than the virus, J virus tunasikia, and sure. we want to mix languages here. We can be comfortable in English and Swahili, so that we reach out to the larger population of Kenya. So, Ebola ni nini?
Okay. Asante, thank you for that question. Ebola, the name Ebola comes from the river where it was found. Okay. There's a river in the Democratic Republic of Congo called River Ebola. So actually the people of that area, they pronounce it Ebola. Okay, so it's like right now here in Nairobi, if a virus is discovered in Nairobi River or in Babadogo River, they'll call it Babadogo virus. That's how virologists name viruses. Okay. Like we have a virus called Nairobi sheep virus because it was discovered in Nairobi and it infects sheep. Okay. There are some individuals, once they discover a virus, they name it after themselves. Like, you as a researcher, Dr. Dan Nyechani, yes. You discover your own virus. You call it the Nyechani virus.
Daktari. Okay.
So, right, we have a virus called, that causes a condition called, Kaposi sarcoma. Okay. For instance,
Kaposi sarcoma.
Kaposi sarcoma is a virus that comes. It's a disease that comes in after when people have HIV, and it has AIDS. When somebody have AIDS, now they have a condition called Kaposi. It was named after Dr. Kaposi. Okay. So it is given these names where or a city We have another one called Norwalk virus. We have a virus, called, even we have a virus called Anyanyo, because it was discovered in that particular.
So Ebola originates from the river in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a river called Ebola.
Yeah, and it was discovered back in 1976, the first case. Wow. So it was actually, it didn't come from DRC. Actually, it was from South Sudan. Sudan, Congo, Uganda, they share the border. Right. And the border between Uganda and Congo, Congo is quite large. It's about 765 kilometers. So you can imagine, you share 765 kilometers of border. And on top, on the northern region, it shares with South Sudan. So that proximity, from that you have North Kabi, then you have central regions and southern Kabi. That's where we see lots of concentration for the Ebola virus. Okay. So in this case, from South Sudan, it came to DRC, and then we have some regions there in Kinshasa. And the reason why this virus originated from this particular area, and most of these diseases, so to say, like, we had Marburg virus, we have hantavirus, we have Ebola, some of these conditions, they come, Lassa fever, we get most of them HIV, coming from nearly the same region, West Africa. The reason for this, Mr. Chan, is because of the forest. Okay. Yeah, the Congo forest. You've heard of
which is quite
vast.
Huge,
and it's enriched areas. In fact, sometimes trying to get vaccination to these areas can be a challenge. And what happens when people are in contact when they're in the forest, sometimes they come in contact with some of these animals that have not been in contact with human beings. Nakuta mtu anakutana na some strange animals that are, the fact that we interact with cows, sheep, some of the diseases that cows had, they have transmitted to us until we've developed immunity against some of these. Tumekaa nazo mpaka tumezoeana. But in this situation, you find that in the forest, you see a weird animal you've never seen before. So actually, the first cases of Ebola, how people got this disease is by coming in contact with bats, pop. Okay. So what happened is that in this particular area, people, it's a delicacy. It's not like a strange animal. So people are accustomed to eating bushmeat. Right. So
like we eat mbuzi here in Kenya.
Yeah. So for them, you catch a popo. It's like, I have a chicken. So by eating bats, that's what, or not even eating them per se, it could be that they are in a cave. Because I remember the 2016 case of Ebola, which was really, it killed 11,000 people. 11,000 people died in a span. So in matters transmission, how is this transmitted? So as I said, most of the transmission occur from the wild, where you have the reservoir. So the reservoir, this is the animal that actually, holds the virus. Right. It's like if you were to go in the jungle, in the forest, and look for where will you find the virus, you'll find them in the bat. Similar to HIV. If you want to find out where did HIV actually come from, you go and look for the chimps. There's a species called Troglodytes. It's a particular species. You find HIV, SIV among these particular species of chimps. So the same thing for the bats. So from the bat, it jumps to the human beings. Within the person, it takes between 2 to 21 days for the virus. It goes through something called incubation. This is the time from when you get infected to when you actually present with symptoms. So it takes quite some time, but most people show it around day 8 after they get infected. So day 8 is when the symptoms begin to show. So that's how it's transmitted.
So Daktari, I mean, the origin of Ebola disease, what I'm trying to understand, you say it comes from South Sudan.
That's how it.
But then we say that it is also in Congo, where it is discovered, right? And it's because Congo, they have a tendency of using some wild animals for delicacy. So what is the connection?
Okay, so it doesn't mean that because it was discovered in South Sudan that's where it came from. Because by the time you're doing your research, you do it at that particular area. So it's possible that it actually originated from DRC, went to, and then it was through migration.
Okay.
It found its way to
Because of
South
the
Sudan,
border.
and then
Sure,
from there,
right. Mhm.
it was later rediscovered again in DRC.
That's
So, and then as I said, these two countries, they share a border.
That's right.
So if you're sharing
That's
a
right.
border, you also share diseases
Okay.
across the
Sure.
border.
Mhm.
So that's a very good possibility that it kind of found its way along that path.
Thank you. So what are the symptoms of Ebola diseases?
Yeah, so in terms of the transmission, before we come to the symptoms,
That's
is
right.
that for somebody to get Ebola,
Okay.
they need to come in contact with fluids or blood. When it comes to contact with body fluids. So when you think about body fluids, what comes to your mind? So you got saliva, you got tears, you got blood, you got breast milk, you got vaginal fluid, you got semen, you got amniotic fluids.
Yes.
So those are some of the ways that the virus can be transmitted. So if somebody is Ebola positive and they have coitus or sex with the other person, then they're likely to catch Ebola. But by the time somebody is Ebola sick, I don't think that will be part of the activity that people get involved in.
Right.
And then also, studies have shown that the Ebola virus lasts really long in the sperm cells, within the semen itself, not the sperm cell, but within the semen. So actually, it's been shown that it can be there for 6 months. So if somebody comes to a test level positive for Ebola and they have been treated, it is possible that the viruses will stay. So they need to have protected sex for 6 months.
Okay.
Otherwise, they will transmit the virus to the next person. So that is in terms of transmission.
What are the common misconceptions in regards to transmissions that we have, maybe around the region? Or
in terms of transmission, one of the most common misconceptions is that you can get Ebola if you're closer to somebody, if you're sitting next to them. Okay, if somebody is coughing, they probably have Ebola. Or Ebola has a physical symptoms where somebody has blisters on their face. So those are some of the common misconceptions when it comes to how Ebola is transmitted. It's not like COVID, as we said before. So it's not highly contagious, like what you've seen with chickenpox, with measles, other viruses. So it's not that highly contagious. So that's in terms of transmission. But there are other misconceptions as well, like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes do not spread Ebola.
That's right.
One thing, and I thank God for this, is that the mosquito is large. So when the mosquito bites you and sucks the blood, the Ebola virus comes and gets stuck in the needle called the proboscis. So that's the one that is used for sucking blood. The mosquito, they take blood and then they also spit some pathogens to you.
Sure.
So only malaria, plasmodium can be transmitted by mosquitoes and others, viruses like yellow fever, West Nile. They can come in that particular area. But for Ebola, fortunately, it's not transmitted. And I don't know whether you've seen the image of Ebola. Have you seen how it looks like in a microscope?
Not really.
It looks like spaghetti.
Oh.
Okay, so it's kind of a snaky. So it's quite a large virus. It's not so, and you need the whole length for it to become infectious. If you get half of it, it's not infectious.
Wow.
So it's a snake. You can, if you look it up, it's kind of spaghetti, cooked spaghetti.
Well, and we thank God actually that it's not transmitted through mosquitoes. Mosquitoes is quite mayhem in our country.
And the most dangerous insect in this world.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Mosquito.
Yeah, nothing beats mosquito. Kills. Many people die from diseases caused by mosquitoes than any other insect in the world.
Oh.
So it's the most dangerous. But how do you, if you think about it, one solution is to get rid of all the mosquitoes in the world. But do you know there's going to be a serious ecological imbalance if we kill all the mosquitoes? Okay, because you think about fish, they feed on it. How mosquitoes grow, egg, pupa, larva, and then adult. So during that middle stages, we have some very important sea creatures that feed on those stages. So we can get rid of them completely. If we kill all the mosquitoes, we're going to have an ecological crisis.
That's well said, Dr. What is the current situation of Ebola in our region? And you could break it further to our country, Kenya.
Okay, so right now, globally, I think the cases, some of these statistics are not solidified because some of the areas that these problems occur are unreached region. Like we can have a problem in Sudan, we can have a problem in the middle of the jungle in the DRC. So it becomes a bit difficult to get the real data in terms of this. But the current situation, understand, they say about 1,300 people have been infected. They have shown the symptoms.
1,300 people.
Yeah, 1,300 people globally.
That's right.
And 95% being in DRC.
So 95%.
Yeah, most of them are in one region. So and out of this 1,300, they say about 360 people or thereabout have died from Ebola. So it has a mortality rate of about 15 to 30%. And this, by the way, I almost forgot to say, this is the 17th episode
of Ebola
outbreak. We have had 17 outbreaks. So after every 2-3 years, we have a new outbreak. Like, I think it was 3 years ago, we had a different outbreak. So we had the Sudan version, A and B, and that was deadly. It had 50% mortality. When you say 50% mortality, out of 1,000 people get infected, 500 will die. So you can see this one, out of 1,300 that we had, 360 have died. So when you do the math, it's about between 20 to 25%.
Right.
Okay, mortality rate.
Compared to the 50%.
Compared to the 50%. The one for 2014, 2016 also had a high mortality rate. Because 28,000 people got infected, 11,000 people died. 11,000, that was quite a serious problem. Okay. So that is in terms of the statistics. In Uganda, we had 20 cases as up to now. That is what has been reported. 2 fatalities. In Kenya, luckily, we've had 0.
Come on, Doctor.
Yeah, we've not had any cases of Ebola.
With these borders, the way we exchange here in, our borders are not...
Actually, I'm not trying to defend the government, but have you heard of Ebola case in Kenya recently?
Now, how do I know? I mean, like...
No, we don't have any case.
But what would you say about our borders?
I think what I can say is that COVID taught us a lot.
Okay.
After COVID, we became very much prepared for some of these. So the surveillance screening at our airport, at the port of entry, in terms of when people are coming in from other countries, they screen them. They check their body temperature, which is one of the signs and symptoms of somebody who has Ebola. At the border, Uganda, Kenya, Namanga, Tanzania, sorry,
right,
and then Busia. They check. They do a lot of serious screening. If somebody has high fever, isolate them, do contact tracing.
For Ebola?
Yeah, they do. Uganda has even done much better. Out of these individuals, the 20 who had Ebola, they say that 95% of them, they were able to follow who did they come in contact with. So the individuals that we suspect, and they are screened mostly and are most vulnerable, are the truck drivers who go long distance.
Exactly.
So those are the people that the thing with global health, when you're dealing with a crisis like this, is that you narrow it down so that your resources are well spent. You don't go screening everybody. Like you sitting in your house in Karioko or in your place in Eldoret or whatever, Kisumu, you are not at high risk. So there's no need to spend money coming and screening and testing. We go to high risk areas and we target the high risk individuals who are the truck drivers and those people who have traveled from these regions.
We have not had a case in Kenya.
No.
We have some long distance drivers.
We do, but I think there were a few. And also sometimes the government can be very careful because they are trying to really control the fear. So maybe there was one, but they contained him and they kept him until it was okay. And then they released him. It didn't get to us. If you didn't pick it up within the media, then probably it didn't get out to the public.
What do you think, Dr. What information should the public rely on?
I think the information the public should rely on is the information from the Ministry of Health, unfortunately.
Okay.
Honorable Duale is the man to call the shots.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, sometimes the government, in its wisdom, shares the information that they deem relevant to the public. But sometimes the social media can catch it up and they run with it. And I think this is what the government has failed sometimes, is educating the public.
Right.
Sharing the right information at the right time. Because Ebola, even the Laikipia base, which we may touch towards the end, it was not the Ministry of Health that gave us the information. It was a leak from the media in the United States.
Right.
And then made it worse by the Secretary, the state, Marco Rubio, who actually went on public media and saying that we will not allow even a single case of Ebola patient to come to our country.
And that thing is really eating up on our citizens, Kenya.
True.
Like you said, we will touch on it later. But according to your knowledge of this whole issue, how do you think our country, how prepared are we as a country?
Sure. Yes. In terms of the preparedness, as I said, COVID taught us a lot. We suffered through it. And in terms of preventing a COVID transmission, 90% of what we did for COVID can be done for Ebola. And we have the structures in place. Like if you go to KNH now, there's a ward dedicated to Ebola. You go to any level 6 hospital that we have, even level 4, level 5. We are, in terms of preparedness, I think we've done what within our capacity, what we can do to get ready for should there be an outbreak. Okay. So that is what I can say in terms of
how do you think we can control the public panic?
In terms of the public panic, I think, the freedom of press has also come with its cost.
Right.
And I think the government should be ahead of the outlet media. Yes. Because sometimes you get information, it's very catchy, it's very hot. It's like, you run with it. Who is going to be the first one to air the news? So I think the government should do a better job having a good government spokesperson who can be doing some of this information to ensure that they're really prepared for this, other than allowing other people. Because when that happens, let me tell you, Dan, misinformation runs faster than the right information. It's catchy. It's sweet to the soul. Like, wow. The government is very choreographed. They share, and it can be boring. It's like when you're watching C-SPAN sometimes, if you watch, versus watching quick news like Fox News or Citizen. It comes in with, it's rapid, information is very feeling, other than the long, boring information. So people want short information. That's why TikTok is very...
But they find gaps, the press find gaps.
They do. So that feeds into the panic, because even you, there's some information that but you may, if you have a family member, unasema sitamwambia yote. Why? Because you tell them everything, they get scared. Okay. So sometimes in the public interest, they may withhold some information. Sometimes they share that when they deem relevant.
But this is where, the information doesn't hold back anymore, even for the press. A case like when we are having a quarantine facility in Laikipia.
Sure.
What do you have to say about it?
I think that facility that was set up in Laikipia, this dates back to 2017, even before this government, when Basharia was the Minister of Health. He signed a deal with the US that in an event of an emergency of a pandemic, Kenya should set up a base. So it was kind of one of those preparedness. Let us deal with problems globally, but within a local area. So this was signed by them. It was renewed by the Minister of Health during COVID time. Okay. I can't remember it. The name is kind of skipping my mind.
That's right. Yeah. But the pandemic within the country, is it the pandemic? The facility should be set up for the pandemic within the region or within the country?
It is within the region.
Within the region?
Yeah, this facility that is being set up in Kenya, the reason for that is Kenya is very strategic. We are a much peaceful country. We have systems that can work. And also we have the manpower that can help with this. So they looked, I'm sure the US looked at Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, South Sudan, DRC, and they found out that Kenya is much better prepared to house this facility. And this facility has been used for many things. It's been used to train the military. Lots of research goes on there. It's not a place where you can just walk in and walk out. Very, very scrutinized. It's like the US, it's like the Uganda embassy in Kenya. It is really, it's a Kenyan land, yes. But who pays the rent, who pays all the dues? It's the Ugandan embassy. So it's the same thing for the Laikipia Air Base. It is partially owned by the US. So by so doing, they have the mandate to be able to do what they want to do in this facility, as long as it's within the framework of what is acceptable. The only problem that came in is I think it was the information didn't come out very correctly, particularly when Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that we will not allow any Ebola positive patient to come to our country.
Imagine.
He came short of saying that we will send them to Kenya. Okay, that was the problem, and that really got Kenyans, riled up, saying that, so what are we? Are we the dumping place where you bring all these patients in and then you go back once they're healthy? So that really got people the wrong
But
way.
out of that, the secretary, do you think is just naive? Is there something that we are not told, Daktari?
I think you need to understand the current administration in power in the United States. These are these are Republicans. Okay, so Republicans and Democrats, they tend to run their administration differently. You find that Republicans, they tend to be more, but it's all about America first. But when you come to the Democrats, it's about the world first, and then us second. So those differences, they tend to come in. So I won't say it was, it's like, when President Donald Trump speaks, he speaks his mind.
Right.
Whatever comes out is what he says. Other presidents, they tend to be more, politically correct. Okay, so but you find other politicians, they tend to just say it as it is. Okay, so that, I think that came out, it might have come out the wrong way. And I think the other problem that came in is that it was taken out and then became political, where you now have politicians really riding on it and also fueling the public. And let me tell you, Dan, it's possible. I may not know this, but there's a possibility that even we've had Ebola patient coming to like KPI base, they've been treated, they have recovered, they've gone back. A very good possibility. Do you know? I don't.
Because it's a quarantine facility.
It's a quarantine facility, and they bring these patients from, if they're in Tanzania, American, so to say, patients who have gotten Ebola, TRC, they fly them in. They don't land at JKIA. I think that's what people need to understand. Because I saw another meme of people dancing, welcoming the first Ebola patient in the country. No, they just fly in directly from where they are. They have enough fuel to land directly at the base. These people are well treated there, and then they go back. I'm not in full support or against it by how it was said, but I think we may be lamenting and rioting out here, but things are already going on there. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a possibility that things have happened.
So that well said, Daktari. And the conversation goes on and on. Our viewers, the response, we are also waiting for the response and all that.
Sure.
So what is the future outlook for this country in terms of research, vaccine development?
Yeah, I think one bit that we kind of skip is the signs and symptoms. How do you know somebody has Ebola?
Okay.
The first one is high fever that comes in suddenly.
Okay.
You're just sitting, malaria, the fever comes, it's up and down, it has this cyclic. But for Ebola, it's kind of, you're just fine, that suddenly it goes up. The other thing is your muscle, you just feel a lot of pain in the muscles, you're tired. And then the other thing, the person may feel like, sore throat. They may have symptoms of vomiting. That's what they can present with them. Then towards the end, after about 21 days or 15 days, depending on the immune system of the person, now they start to show severe symptoms where they start to have diarrhea.
Okay.
That can be severe, and this diarrhea can be bloody. It has blood, and also they start bleeding from openings of the body, like the mouth. Blood begin to come out of the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the ears, anal region, as well as the urinary regions and the vaginal regions for the ladies. So they bleed from every part of the body. And the reason for this is because the virus affects clotting system, and clotting system is what allows you to, like when you cut yourself, you don't bleed anymore. So it affects part of that, the platelets within the liver, and as well as affecting the kidneys as well towards the end, but mostly it goes to the liver. And also the high fever causes the blood vessels to become inflamed, and then they burst open eventually. So these are some of the symptoms that somebody can present. Headache is also there. So cough is not there. That's what we saw a lot with COVID, because it was very classic. Somebody had cough, but in this case you don't see a lot of cough. Okay, so those are the major differences between the two, and the classical symptoms. By the time somebody is bleeding, that person is contagious.
Okay.
Don't touch.
What is supposed to do? What are they supposed to do?
They go into isolation. You isolate them. But I was seeing some of the clips that are coming out of DRCs that the hospital are overwhelmed. You see a child has COVID, they're lying in the hospital bleeding, and the parents are the one taking care of them. So the facilities are really poorly maintained. And the root cause of this is that, as I said, when Democrats are in power in the US, they tend to favor global health. But when Republicans are there, it's about American first. So there were some funds that used to be set aside to control some of these diseases through the EIS, Epidemic Intelligence Services. But now when Donald Trump became the president, he cut some of these funds. So now controlling some of these diseases from where they are has become a problem. Because a Ugandan problem may become a world problem. DRC, Kinshasa problem may become a world problem eventually. So to bring that to the mind of the politician that just because I'm not infected doesn't mean I'll not be affected, need to be reversed to an extent that that when I catch a cold and I cough, there's a possibility it may happen to you as well. So that's one thing that was left behind. But I think with what's happening, they may start funding some of these projects because we need to control these problems before they get out of control.
Yeah, and questions that are asked, Daktari, what are the preventions and the treatments of Ebola disease?
Sure. So when it comes to prevention, there's quite a difference between prevention and treatment. Let's talk about the treatment first. Because one thing about Ebola, as we mentioned, one of the symptoms is high fever.
Right.
So you need to treat that first. And how do you treat fever? You give fever suppressing drugs. One of it being drugs like Panadol. So Panadol is very good in terms of lowering the fever. Temperature moto ikipanda juu sana kwa mwili, there's a Panadol mara moja. All these drugs that come out, that's paracetamol in it, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, they are drugs that you can use to lower fever. Even the reason why most children die from malaria, sometimes it's just because of high fever. Because what happens when the body can only sustain so much temperature.
Right.
If you remember back in your biology, you have something called homeostasis. Your body wants to stay at a particular point. So what happens is that when the temperature goes very high, people can die from it. Okay. And the reason for this, why the temperature goes up, is because of the immune system. Your body is trying to fight the virus.
Okay.
And by so doing, it recruits a lot of white blood cells, the good guys. But more than what is needed come. And when they do, they cause problems within the body. Okay. So the first thing is to control fever through that. The other thing is electrolyte balancing in the body. What do I mean by electrolyte balancing? It's like when you go to the hospital, they put an IV fluid on your vein, and then there is a bag hanging there that allows the fluid to go in. So these people lose a lot of water in their body. So we need to balance salt, sugar, and other electrolytes in the body, potassium, calcium. So that's one way of controlling. As you can see, all these cannot be done at home. It is mostly managed in the hospital. The other thing is to take care of pain, okay? Because when they feeling pain, depression kicks in, they think they will die, so it becomes a problem. And so once you take care of those, it can really help. And the other one is just to be rested in terms of for the patient. You just tell them rest, and monitor the symptoms so that they don't progress to a point where they're starting to have diarrhea. So that's in terms of treatment. There is no drug for Ebola. Like we don't have an antiviral. The way we have antiviral for diseases like HIV. We don't have a drug that cures HIV, but we have antivirals that actually fights HIV.
There are some centers or hospitals that the public is aware that they should take their patients maybe in such cases?
Any county referral hospital has been equipped. That's why you asked the question at the beginning. Are we prepared?
Right.
And I said yes, as a country we are. You go to any county. Most counties actually have a referral hospital where a patient can be referred to. But as I said, they focus mostly on the regions where this disease is likely to occur. Like, you have regions like, Northeast and Turkana, we've never had any, the chances of Ebola getting there are low, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't prepare. So in such places, it's not very, but to go to Kenyatta, there is a ward dedicated for any Ebola patient that will come in. There is a place.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
and also we have that like EPI base. if somebody gets very sick, they can be flown there to be.
That's like Libya Airbase. We don't want to talk about it so much. So, Daktari, what is the biggest? Okay, amidst all these, the frustrations of these viruses, according to you, what is the biggest myth you heard behind Ebola?
Okay, good. Before we go to the myth, let's talk about prevention, because we talked about treatment. It's different.
Okay.
So when you talk about treatment, you're actually trying to, treat the virus that's already in. So in terms of prevention, avoid contact with body fluids of a person who is infected. If a mother has Ebola, do not breastfeed. If a mother has Ebola, they need to be screened, because the virus can pass from the mother to if they are pregnant. Okay, it can go from the mother to the baby. And we have really not done a lot of research to know how does Ebola affect the fetal development. To do some of this research, we use mice and chimps, primates, for research, and I don't think some of them have been infected with this virus to see how it affects them. And by the way, I forgot to mention, bats that bring the virus, they don't die from Ebola. And they're fine. It is part of their normal life to live with the virus. Okay. So they just know how to survive with the virus. Okay. All right. So the other preventive measure is that when somebody has Ebola, it's better to take them to the hospital, catch the symptoms early. Right. Okay, once you see all those symptoms that I mentioned, fever, vomiting, like you correctly put it, then they should really seek medical care immediately. The other one is when it comes to funerals, some of these areas where people still prepare the bodies at home. Embalming the bodies, preparing the dead, dressing them. I think we're shifting more now to morticians, allowing them to do the body preparations, so that it should not be handled by the family members. But the stigma that comes with this, in that you saw during COVID, when somebody died of COVID, they'll bring the body at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. They just throw it inside the grave, and then they bury it immediately by 10. So people are saying, if I die, please don't let me be buried by the public health officers. So they keep the body of the dead person, they bury them according to how they deem necessary. But now with the advent of burial permits, name them, I think now we are getting more paperwork is required just to bury somebody. Okay. So handling the dead, and also bushmeat. Avoid bushmeat. By all means. I mean, bushmeat is not
the bats in Congo.
Even the deer, even the hare, eating any bushmeat. But here in Nairobi, sometimes we hear of watu wamekula punda. Things that you didn't plan for. Right. Because your nyama unakula, you don't know where it came from.
They say punda squeeze is a domestic animal, so.
No, that one. That's where we get a problem.
They don't count it as bush meat anymore, right? So that's right. So prevention,
it's key. And also washing your hands, because when you get home today in the evening, it's better just go get water and soap, because these viruses are very fragile. They don't survive for a longer period of time outside the body. You make them sit out there in the surface. They die after 10-15 minutes. They're not alcohol. Okay. Yeah. So using alcohol, just sanitizer, that clears it. But wearing a mask does not. Right. Unless it's heavily contained.
It's not airborne, right?
It's not airborne.
So we can now look at the
I think you talked about myths. So one thing we had mentioned that it's not spread by mosquitoes. The other thing is that herbs do not fully cure it. There's people who are saying, I'll drink ginger, I'll eat lemons. What it does is that it just boosts your immune system. And that's why you saw during COVID, a lemon was going for 20 shillings. That's teeny tiny small. People thought that this is the magic drug. People were smelling garlic. Garlic, ginger. That is just to help your immune system. Turmeric, but it does not cure. Bleaching, drinking, at some point people are saying kunywa pombe. When you drink alcohol, it has a corona, and no, it does not. Because by the time alcohol is absorbed, it's been changed. It's no longer alcohol, now it's something else. It has gone through chemical processing. Okay, so that does not. And it doesn't mean, the other myth is that not everybody who gets Ebola dies. Okay, people survive, not everybody dies. And just because you've been infected with an Ebola last time, doesn't mean that you will not be infected again. You don't develop immunity. In fact, the Ebola that we have right now is not the Ebola that was here 3 years ago. Right. The one that was here 3 years ago is Zaire. The one that we have now is called Bundikyu. It's a special name that was given because it was discovered in a region called Bundikyo in Uganda. So it's a new data different. And the drugs that were used to treat the Zaire type is not even working for this one. The virus has mutated, it has changed. It's no longer the same. That's why we don't have a drug for HIV, because HIV keeps changing. The HIV, it's an RNA virus, so it makes several mistakes. And some of the mistakes are very good for the virus. It helps you to avoid the immune system. So that is what we find with some of the myths.
Behind Ebola. Right. So, Dr. Like, you're a lecturer for your case in the School of Medicine, and yet we are having so many misinformations. You said, though there's lapse a bit about the government not doing enough public sensitization. But we have so many medics around, even within your school. What are we supposed to do, like as medics? Are you organizing yourself at some point?
Sure.
To sensitize the public or
Sure.
something like that.
So there are various arms of within the Ministry of Health. It's divided into various departments. There's a department that handles drugs, like National Poisons Control Board. There is KEMSA is right there also. There is a department that handles the public safety. There's a department that handles disaster. Whenever there's a disaster, there's a department that handles the finances for the Ministry of Health.
Right.
So within these, the people actually are supposed to do sensitization are the public health officers.
Right.
Doctors are so busy seeing patients that they have really no time to go out there and tell people this is how COVID spread, this is how Ebola spread. And the government actually has the machinery to be able to do this. So I think, as we say, the government is really playing catch up. By the time they try to bring in the information, people are really scared. And let me tell you, Dan, right now we are crying that there's Ebola. Okay. If a bomb drop, if they drop the drugs today in Kenya and they say there's a vaccine for Ebola, people will again say, no, I'm not getting vaccinated. That vaccine will make me stutter. That vaccine will make me sick.
Right.
Remember during COVID?
Sure.
People are saying we are dying. When the vaccine came, people saying, no, I'm not getting vaccinated. In fact, they had to scare some public health officers. Not scare, but tell them that if you don't get vaccinated, you don't get paid. We need COVID vaccine certificate. So it was kind of, a bit of scare tactics to have people get vaccinated. Because when it comes to vaccine, there's something called herd immunity. If you have 80% of the population vaccinated, then the virus cannot jump from one person to the next. That's one thing that you need to know. So, and this facility that was set in Kenya, one of the things that they were planning to roll out is vaccine studies. Okay, to be in that facility as well. I think it was part of the package. So I don't think the government, we have medics, yes, as you say, and we are playing catch up. I think that the issue is bigger than that. It's not just the medics who are failing. It is it's a larger component of the public health sector.
Do we have some medics who are, catching up or getting swayed in the misconceptions about?
Very few, if any. Yeah, very few. Because they see the patient, they are there. Yeah, so it's quite. And then one other misconception is that Ebola was created in a lab. No, it was not. Go see the bats in Congo. And these are not small bats. They are called freight bats. They are big. Ni kama kuku. So ukipata mguu unakula kabisa.
The bats in Congo.
Hey, they are very nice and big. Juicy, so to say.
So, Dr. Your closing remarks.
My closing remarks is as a country, we've gone through a lot. We've survived a lot. And let's not, we should be alarmed. Okay, we should be armed but not scared about this. But we should be very careful. Watch out for the signs and symptoms. And just know that in as much as we may not see a lot coming from the government, but they are doing their best to do what they can to help the public. You are your best doctor. That's what I tell people. Like, you know yourself better. You know places that if you go, you can expose yourself to these conditions. And, let's watch out. Let's be our neighbors' keeper, in terms of this, some of these conditions.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Well,
Good to have you around.
I'll be back.
That
On
was
this show.
on this show.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That has been a very good conversation in regards to Ebola. You know, Ebola is a dangerous virus within our region, and this show actually was meant to educate the public. We were not making some announcements from the health ministry.
I don't work for the Ministry of Health.
Correct.
I am an independent scholar.
Yeah. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your comments. Subscribe, like, and share. This is how we even get to spread this education to other Kenyans or even the region at large, East and Central Africa, where the pandemic is hitting hard. Thank you for your time. See you next time, same place on this show.